Thursday, May 2nd, 2019.
Everybody ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have some minutes, I think.
Minutes?
Yep. Motion to approve the minutes of March 21st and April 8th meetings? Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo? You're talking about opening, I don't know what happened to her. I even sent her an agenda last night, so I haven't heard back from her.
Pete?
I know Carolyn was just talking about this before the meeting about, next week is Law Day. And she's asking about, okay, kind of tours we want to have them do. Seems like, the dog pound is always a popular one. I think the dispatch over in the jail is a very interesting idea. Beyond that, I know in the past they have taken the kids over to, out at the landfill, over to the sewer treatment plant in Erie. Do you want to include all of those, or some of those?
It's a time thing to go to Huron, isn't it? How do you transport them there?
They usually have their own transportation, but
I think if we do that, we need to make sure that they know that, so their parents know they're driving their cars out to the landfill.
or we do have a van here, probably we could grab. Crappy one, but.
I need to be done by like noon that day, so, anything prior to that.
We don't go with them, do we?
You have in the past.
Not lately.
Not
lately, I don't think.
Used to do the tours, well, not the tours so much because they did that while we were in the meeting.
Right, or
And
you go to
then-
the dog pound, the sheriff's.
But
And
in
then
the
they'd
past-
come back and I'd like maybe take them out to lunch or.
Yeah, in the past, the commissioners have actually taken them to lunch.
I took one kid to the sewer plant one time.
If you will just give it some thought and let me know in the next day or so I can put an
You know
agenda
what we
together.
could do? Let's take them out to, you guys want to, I'll take them out to the pumping station at NASA out at Sheldon's. That's kind of cool. You haven't seen it since it's done.
What time? Because there's that thing at 1 at
What's
BG,
at 1?
that BG Firelands Partnership thing I wanted to go to.
And we have a few things on the agenda next week. I can do some rearranging. I have, actually, the only thing I have besides bid openings is finance. I could move them if you wanted me to, so it would give you a head start. But we usually have them doing the tours, some of the tours at least, while we're even in closed session. That's happened before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take them to dog pound in the sheriff's office while we're here. And
Okay? And then afterwards,
I can just put them in my truck, I suppose. Am I allowed to do that?
I'm sure you are, but I will give them a heads up, knowing so they know to expect
Probably
that.
want to get permission slips.
Permissions?
I'll see what they have at the
You guys
school.
want to do that?
I think they're old enough to drive.
Yeah, but they can't, well, yeah, I could drive back in. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as I'm done by noon, I don't really care what we do.
So you're thinking about the Sheldon
What
Marsh?
time are they
or-
getting here?
We usually have them in here a little before 9.
Okay.
So they meet with Pete, he gives them an idea what's going on, we give them their packet.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I think, again, this is where we always talk about, our finance is one of our main things. I'm thinking that they should at least be here for that, so maybe we do move that up on the agenda.
Well, I'm limited, all I could do is switch you with them.
Yeah,
Okay, I can do that.
I would think so. And then
Okay.
after that, we can let them go on their tours.
Okay, while you're talking, if we have any closed sessions. All right. And you're still thinking about Sheldon Marsh, maybe?
Might like to see that.
Okay. I'll be in touch.
Okay, yeah, I have a few items. Again, you're aware of that, we're doing this project over on Kelly's Island for their airport. Essentially, this is like any other special assessment project. We've sent out the assessments. The point being is that where the FAA would be involved is they essentially would cover the assessments on the land owned by the village, which is essentially the airport land. What's left is roughly, according to this early estimate, roughly about $34,000 that would go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13 property owners. Okay. And we can, again, putting them on their taxes over on the assessments twice a year, you can go up to 15 years. So, if we want to do 15, we want to do something less than that, that's board decision. Again, I doubt that we've gotten any feedback from any of these property owners.
Haven't heard a thing.
We haven't heard a thing.
Is there a normal thing that we normally do for stuff like that? Is it 15 years or?
I think, I'm pretty sure we did, on Burdette was probably the last one. I'm pretty sure that's what we did, was
It depends
15
on
years.
the size of the project,
Right.
how expensive it is.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, these, go up to almost $5,000.
Per person.
Yeah, a couple of them, most of them are around, I would say average probably about 2,000. Maybe a little more than that.
But they want it done, I think, right?
Sounds like it, yeah. The other thing is we do have an existing drainage rotary fund, which was set up years and years ago for soil and water to do what was called their, Higher Revised Code, Chapter 1516, which is, it's now been changed over to Chapter 940. There's about $115,000 we could hopefully seed that, but essentially, you have two choices. We could do that route, or we could borrow the money for the individual piece, which again be $34,000 or $35,000. That's not a lot of money, but to go through the process of issuing debt and still have to go through our bond council, yeah, I mean, it just, to me, for that amount of money, it seems kind of ridiculous to tack those kind of fees into that.
Yeah, I would agree.
So this way, there would be no interest on the assessments, so you guys are fine with that.
So how do we get the, what's the term? How long? If you loan them the money,
Would be the same as the assessment period.
isn't that like 30 years?
No, you can only go up to 15 years,
30 payments.
30 payments.
So you'd be 15 years to get the money back?
Yeah.
That's a little weird.
I think you can.
Well, you can make it
shorten
less. You can make it 5 years, you can make it 2 years, you can
But then
do,
the payment goes up.
well, yeah.
What's the
It'd be
bond?
nice to have some, input from the property owners, what they would like to see.
Do we
Yeah.
know if any of them are really, really into it and they maybe pay upfront a piece of it?
Exactly.
Well,
Some of it?
that's your other, they can pay it all up front too.
To save. Yeah, before you'd suggest about, I wonder what the fees are to sell a bond. It's probably as much as
Well,
the money you're borrowing, isn't it?
Well, in this case, what I would suggest, and I already talked to the county treasurer, she'd be willing to do it.
For
The only-
15 years?
Yeah. We did that with the Burdette Woods, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, we did ditch.
Yeah, we did that.
Well, then there's your answer.
Yeah, I'd just do that.
Yeah.
But again, I still would have some
We
fee.
don't have to have communication with anybody, get a big argument going over one guy.
Well, essentially, do you want to charge these folks interest on their assessments or not?
Is Pam gonna charge you interest?
Oh, yeah.
Well, then I'd charge her that interest.
Now, do we want to just skip that?
Why don't you charge the interest if she's charging us the interest?
Well, we don't have to do that. We don't want to.
But where are you gonna get the interest money from? General fund?
No, from this fund that's already set up, this drainage improvement fund we're already talking about.
Oh,
There's
so-
$115,000
So
in
that
there.
would pay the interest for 15 years?
There would be no interest.
Take it out of that.
It
Just
would
take
just
it
come
out.
out of here.
Oh, so there's enough cash in there. I got
Yeah,
you.
well, I mean, we will be short some cash, which I think the treasurer would probably let us float for a few months till we get the FAA money. But other than that,
You guys good with that?
Yeah, if we take it
I
out.
mean, for such a small amount.
I didn't know you had
Yeah,
that
I
much
think
money
it's-
in
I
there.
don't think we need to go through all the hoops to,
Right,
if we have our means to do that.
All right,
Yeah.
well, let me tell you guys a little story about something else that's going on with Huron Lagoons. We got a meeting next Tuesday over this big mess over there, and been going on forever, and some lawyers involved, and it's, I mean, it's not really our business, because I got, Fortney says the ditch, it's, Hoffman Ditch is actually under ditch maintenance. It's one of the few that
Yes.
is. But once it hits the Huron city limits, our obligation stops. So what's happening is, back where these couple of big houses are, they've kind of done some modifications to the hole that goes, the creek that goes out. And you know, the Huron Lagoons used to be a creek, and now it's a pond. So they made it bigger, but this is way before our time.
Mhm.
Back in the 60s, probably, Marsh Brown. Well, over the years, you know, things have crowded in, and people have put armor stone, and, you know, things have changed, and in the essence, it's necked in a little bit now. And so, what happens, and they had this problem on another lagoon, what happens is it clogs up. And with the water being high now, the material, the stony, like rocky stuff, is coming on the east to west drift, or west to east drift, whatever it's called, is piling up there now. So it worked all these years when the water was low, but now the water's high, it's not. So Ken and I put our heads together, and Ken's suggestion was maybe treat it like White's Landing, a project, you know how they put the big pumps in there and they pump it from one side to the other? I don't know if that's gonna work, we're gonna talk about that, but there's gonna need some money. So Soil and Water's involved, ditch guy's involved, and Huron's involved, and of course the association's involved. And the reason we care about it is it's a ditch going out the lake, and if it doesn't work, it backs up, and people's will have property damage. So could we use that money that's in that fund right there to help with this situation?
possibly.
How much is in the fund?
It's 115,000,
And now you're gonna blow 30,000 of it?
35, yeah, roughly. Maybe even more, depends on when the bids come in and all that.
I'm just thinking
So
out
it's
loud,
up- yeah.
maybe we should keep the 115,000 for things that, you know, we need it for.
Essentially, this is, I mean, this is kind of Soil and Water's money, even though it was general fund money we gave to them. It was, the idea was that they do a ditch project and the money would come back into the fund, the revolving idea.
Does it add money every year?
No.
Okay.
No, it's actually really been sitting there. We used a little bit of it 2 years ago on the hazard mitigation work we did on Pipe Creek, where we got some federal money for that. There was some match money involved.
Well, I'm just thinking, I wonder if we should keep our powder dry on that money, if you can get it from Pam Farrell,
Mhm.
and the people are gonna pay it back.
Mhm.
Maybe we should keep that 115,000 for something that there's no funding for. You know, like a problem child that there's no money. This one, there's money, the people are gonna pay for it. Just thinking out loud.
Is that ditch assessed?
Up to the city limits. So you.
Because all the ditch assessments went up last year.
Yeah, we're
Wouldn't-
good up to the city limits. So the problem is.
Well, then the city has to take it over from there,
Not
right?
necessarily, because Andy's not waiving responsibility here at all.
Mhm.
But what he is saying is the problem seems to be at the mouth of the lake. And the problem with the mouth of the lake is the water's too high. So, you know, it's worked for 30 years, but now that the water's up and staying up, as the material gets floated across on this, they call it this drift, it's depositing in the hole. So now that the hole is at this elevation and Hoffman Ditch is at this elevation, you can't get out. So it backs up. And the one that they did down the road, the other lagoon, it's sand. And he says eventually what happens is the pressure of the ditch will push the sand out of the way and clear it. So it's been working okay. This one's kind of rocky stuff, like the little pebbles, and it's not enough pressure to push the rocks out of the way. So it backs up into the lagoon and it's flooding the people's basements.
This
And
is
eventually-
in the river?
Huh?
It's emptying into the river or into the lake?
In a lake. This was right into, you know, where. So it's
Do we
kind of a
normally do-
weird situation.
Do we normally deal with that aspect of it for any reason? Where it
What-
enters the
What's
lake?
it's in a municipality now?
Well, but it's
State?
it's our water too. Because remember.
What's happening now? It's just
It
backing
just
up?
keeps backing up. So eventually, yeah, it's gonna be our problem, because it'll back up to the city limits, it'll back up into our ditch.
What's the, normally, how high is it? I mean, when you have a normal water table in the lake, what happens to the,
If the lake's down here, our ditch keeps going.
because the lake's not gonna stay this high.
No, but
It cycles.
you still have to fix it. There's people that are getting flooded right now. You know, basements.
I get that, but if we're good through right up to the city limits,
It doesn't work that way, Steve. It's, the water coming all the way through it's everybody's problem, because if this stops here, Hoffman Ditch, eventually it'll clog up there too. I mean,
yeah, but we're not gonna dredge the Huron River if it silts up at the mouth of the river, because we have drainage water that comes in south and it pours into the river. I
we
mean,
do. No, we do. Like Vermillion, they have to clear that.
But we don't pay for that, the county, do we?
No, that's
No,
the
that's what I'm
Federal
saying.
Coast Guard. comes
Right,
in
that's what
and
I'm saying.
Clears it, but, no, it's still our problem. I mean, there's, like Ken said, it's an issue. It's not all our problem,
Right.
but I mean, it's a cooperative thing. I'm not saying that we're gonna put any money towards it, because we don't even know what the solution is at this point, but in the end, isn't that kind of money for last recourse?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound like Kelly's is the last recourse. You got property owners that'll pay. You got treasurer will give you the money.
How many property owners does this impact? About?
Oh, this is huge, 150 acres, so it's big. A lot of people.
How much is in the city limits to the
I don't know
lake?
the answer. A lot. I mean, this is hundreds, maybe thousands of people. It's big watershed. You think about, the way you gotta look at it is there's, everything in Erie County naturally drains the lake. So there's X number of discharge points. And you gotta keep them all clear, or Erie County doesn't drain, because it's, it's sloping, with the glaciers down to the lake. So all these points are important. You can't clog any one of them up, or bad things will happen.
Well, if you borrow the money from the treasurer, there's a small interest fee, maybe it'll inspire the property owners to pay the money back a little faster. If not, they'll have the option on 15 years.
I've never seen that happen,
What do you mean?
that they pay it back a little.
Well,
bit.
then they choose to pay interest. I try to pay my loans off faster.
No, they don't, actually, there's no choice. You set it and that's it.
Right, they can't
it's
pay
not
it off
like
early.
Yeah, it's not like you're taking a loan from a bank and you have you have an option to pay off early. It doesn't work that way.
Right. You have a one-time shot at paying it off.
Yep.
And if you say
Or
no, then
that, or it's 15 years, or whatever length of time you guys say, under 15 years.
Well, then I guess they have a choice to pay it off immediately or pay it off over 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
The question
Or
is,
10 or
would you
whatever.
like to ask them?
Yeah. I mean,
Ask the people?
it's fine with me if you want to throw a public meeting out about it. see what their thinking is, or send them a survey. I mean, I don't know if that's allowed, but,
Or have the mayor do it.
yeah, somehow.
Wasn't the airport talking to them, like when this came up a year or so ago?
Yeah.
Somebody from the airport came in here.
Yeah, Rob Quinn was telling us about it, but memory serves, I think he said everybody was for it except one person.
Hmm.
Is there one person that was against it or something? Do you know the mayor?
No.
I don't know the new mayor.
Well, I suppose the administrator calls the mayor's administrator and see what they want to do.
Isn't Eric working with them?
Eric.
Pedro, yeah.
I mean, he may know the answer.
Mhm.
Well, talk it over, see if you can get a little more intel, and we can
Okay,
make a decision.
all right. Again, we got a request for bike week. It's pretty much the same, just use of the parking garage over the weekend. Have any issues with that? No?
It's fine.
Okay. Last week, again, we talked about the city's request for a lease of parking spaces in the parking garage. I know they've asked where that's at. They want to take action by May 27th.
Yeah, they have a meeting, 20-something, if they want to deal with it at that meeting.
So I don't know if there are any further thoughts, or do you want to, discuss this one further maybe next week, or what's your pleasure? I will tell you, I talked to Gary Will now a little bit about, say, like using the top level of the parking garage, and the issue during the winter. He says, what you don't want to do is you really don't want to be plowing up there, because you're putting undue loads in certain parts of wherever you stack it.
Sure.
It needs to be, if you're gonna do that, it's gotta be level. You can't just pile it up in one spot. Because you're putting an undue load, because it's not, it wasn't designed to take that kind of weight, say, in one area.
Does everybody just close the roof of a parking garage? I can't believe that everybody just closes the
Just don't
top.
allow it.
We close it.
Everywhere, I mean, you just
Normally,
don't
we
use the
close
top
it.
floor of a parking garage in the
Yeah,
winter?
that doesn't make sense.
No.
I think they must, well, then they gotta shovel it out and haul it out. That probably is what they do, put it, like, that's what they do at Cracker Park, they just put it in dump trucks and haul it out.
I think you're gonna get a dump truck in our garage.
No, you're not. I doubt if you get dump trucks in many parking garages, because they don't have that kind of height.
Well, then how do you get the snow out?
You don't.
Well, you must, like you
I think
said, you
just-
gotta
I think
park
just
there.
Park up
I don't
on it in
think-
the snow.
I don't remember ever seeing it plowed.
I don't think we have.
Look out at it
I don't
every
think
day.
we've ever plowed it.
Yeah.
No, we've never plowed it.
Yeah, and that,
Because we close it.
right.
It's not usually an
Well-
issue in the winter.
I guess the issue is just let them park down in the basement. Don't worry about
Well, that's the way it's set up right now. That was their initial, their
Right.
thought, and we kind of went along with that with, I put them in the farthest bottom of the basement, the
Which
west
nobody
wall, over along that hole in the ground area.
it. Yeah, nobody
And
uses
there's
it.
a stairway that comes straight up out of there. We have not presented that to them yet. Trevor's contacted me yesterday about where we
I
at.
still doubt that they'll even be in there by June 1st.
Yeah, I'd be surprised too, but they wanted it effective June 13th. I put it effective June 1st. I don't want to be collecting rent for half a month or, just first to first. If they don't use it for 15 days, that's their problem.
I hate to bring
They
up source.
didn't present,
I hate
they
to bring
paid
up.
$1 rent.
Here's a sore subject. They can have the 15 cars. I don't think they'll charge them anything for the pool cars. Well, I think you got a bigger problem. Because in the paper now, they're gonna charge money, ticketing people over 2 hours. So you got all these people coming down there right now, and it says right in the paper, go park if you want long-term parking, go park in the county parking garage, because they allow 48 hours. We got no way to enforce the 48 hours. We don't have no meter man going around there. So now what you've just done is you've taken up every space is gonna be filled in that parking garage. You move all them people off the street right now,
Mhm.
put them back in that parking garage. Our parking garage is full. So then you're gonna have Mr. Jeffries with no place to park. I see where that's
I
going.
got an email from an elected official wanting to know what we're gonna do with the parking garage. And I says, well, if you're talking about specific spaces for an office, I said, I don't think the board is keen on that. And the response I got was, well, I'm not looking at that, but just designated parking for the county employees.
Bottom level right now, sign says employees only to go into the lowest level.
And they don't park there.
Then they don't park there.
Well, if I go in the garage, I do, but when it's a rainy day, there's some cars down.
Okay.
But only in the first part of that, not all the way to the bottom. where
But
we're
you
talking
see
about
what's
what's
gonna
industrial.
change here.
Well.
And the
just-
minute they say, I can't park on the street
Right.
for
but
more than 2 hours.
They just put signs up on Washington Row, West Washington Row in front of our building.
Which is where we park.
4 hour, they just put 4-hour parking signs up there. And I'm like, cool, when I get here, I can come out at lunch and go to lunch and I come back and I'm good for 4 more hours. 2 hours, you used to have to go out and move your car if you
I
wanted to
thought it
park
was
there.
2 hours.
That's what they were talking about, they just put signs up yesterday. I saw one just now on my way here.
How are they gonna do that without marking your
From eight-
tires?
From 8 to 4, on Monday through Friday, 8 to 4.
How many spots are down below in that lower level? Because when it first opened, the gates were there,
The lowest level is
Yeah.
about there's about 15 in a row roughly.
each.
And so
15,
there's
15,
2 rows
15,
down at the lowest
right.
level, 2 rows down
Top.
at secondary, so
Is
probably.
that enough
60
space-wise?
There's roughly 50 spaces on each floor, and a floor is like kind of 2 levels, if you will.
Yeah.
You know,
So, Gary,
Yeah.
why don't we just do this? Make the gate work again, okay? The little arm thing.
Right.
And then tell the city that they gotta park up above the gate, okay? And then we just go back to, you gotta be a county employee to get in the gate. Simple. That way, how many is that enough spaces behind the gate for the county
For
employees?
people that
to
are in
park?
that building?
Hmm.
That's
Probably,
I would
that's
guess
gonna
it's
be-
somewhere between 50 and 60 spaces
So that's enough?
after the gate.
Is that enough?
there's probably 50, roughly. No, I don't think so.
That's not enough?
It's gonna be close, let's put it that way.
Yeah, it'll be close.
It'll be
We've
close.
got Probably.
You got no argument,
20
just tell
people,
them not to
just
park
an
there.
hour.
We're the only ones that can go in there.
Auditor's probably got another 15 to 20.
I think he's hiring more though.
So you're saying give the city spots on the first level? On the first level?
No, not underneath the gate, no, because
I
we
honestly
need.
don't think it's gonna
court-
be this huge thing where all of a sudden everybody's gonna park in there. Now, obviously, I can't predict the future. But most people who come to shop downtown aren't there that long. It's not a problem for them. People who work downtown, there's also the big parking lot where, behind the State Theater, where Ohio Theater, whatever you wanna call that one on Jackson Street. That's a big parking lot, and that thing's almost always empty.
Why don't you just tell them we'll give them 15 spots in the garage at our discretion, at our timing?
Well, that's the way it is written now.
And then if we need to
Initially
adjust-
designated as this, and we'd give them 60 days' notice and take their input and not unreasonably deny their request, so to speak. So, I mean, it's like.
They can park in one of our 200 spots, we'll guarantee that.
Well, we need to sign them, though. We need to put up City of Sandusky signs.
Yeah, movable ones.
My recommendation at this point would be to put them in that lowest level, because nobody drives down there typically. It's either behind the gate or it's behind a sign that says employees only.
Mhm.
If something changes when this parking implementation takes off, they start fining next week. So we're gonna know pretty soon how that affects us, so we don't have to have entered into an agreement with them before we know, at least initially, what's happening with the new parking.
Yeah, I wanna take care of our employees more than their pool cars.
Right.
You
And
know,
I don't-
so
Yeah.
I think if you
I
get a
put in
third,
there no storage of cars, daily,
Right.
regular, short-term parking. I was assuming it was for their people who came to work.
No.
I think it's-
Why
I think
can't
it's
they
free.
park
No,
their
it's,
cars down
it's,
and make streets?
it's for their official fleet.
yeah, like
So
you
for
drive
their
your
marked
regular car to
cars.
work, and then you
Yeah.
go and
Yeah,
get in your.
you know,
So they their cars they use day to day, but they'll leave them there overnight?
yes,
Yeah, they don't take them home, maybe.
yeah, right.
Okay. I was thinking it was.
It makes
for-
sense to
I thought
me.
it was like,
Yeah,
from
this is their
place to
cars
place
that have
where they're
got
at
the
work.
city logo on, you know,
Yeah.
for like their inspectors and code enforcement and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
What do we just put them down below? Make that gate work, like Pat said. County employees, go through the gate. If you want to guarantee a spot, put everybody down below. If we find out that, oh, we don't have enough for our county employees, then, like Matt said, here's their sign. Take your sign with you, attach it on the second floor, third, wherever we go, we'll find a place for you.
Those spots we're looking to give them now, there's never cars. I guarantee nobody who's an employee now
Exactly.
parks there.
Well, and because
I
nobody.
don't know how we got on this route. I mean, that was the original plan all along. Just go with the plan,
Okay.
right?
I'm,
For free?
just as somebody who's down there all the time, I see this working the way it is, and we got a 60-day throw you out policy in the contract.
Is there,
It's
what's the
our
renewal on the
contract.
contract? Every
So
year?
it's- No, it's a.
5 year.
5 years with 3 more renewables. or 4
They
more
wanted a
renewals.
full 20-year.
They wanted 20 with a 2-year throw-out option. One, we're not gonna, I don't wanna lock, I don't recommend locking in future boards for 50 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, yeah, one,
So it's got a 60-day on either side, we don't wanna
Okay.
do this anymore,
Okay.
no matter what, for no cause. But it's initially a 5-year term
Okay.
at $300 a month. That makes some money off it. Yeah, but we take care of all maintenance. It's our garage.
Yeah.
I'd like it if they pay some maintenance.
Well, I think that's $300 a month.
if they're amenable, then let's just quit talking about it and do it.
You wanna look at what I'm gonna send before I send it?
No.
It's favorable to the county.
Give you
But
like
you're
2
only gonna do
answers.
5 years.
Renewal, automatic renewal unless somebody says 2 months earlier, we're not renewing. And we have the right to increase the rent at each renewal.
All right,
Okay.
that's fine. But,
I'll get it over
and
to
just
her.
make sure we can move them. Right
Yeah.
now, they'll go in the basement.
Right, it's at our discretion where they are, but we wouldn't move them without consulting with them, but it's our discretion where they finally end up.
But like Matt said, they got a spot.
Yeah.
You know, but I
It's
mean,
not a bad spot for them. I don't think they're gonna feel,
honestly, if you're trying to make that garage work for the State Theater and the events, you know, you all been down there when that garage is full. You might wanna think about going to 24 hours instead of 48 hours. Because 48 hours, that's a permanent car sitting there. And if you go to 24-hour parking, you know, or no overnight parking, that might be where it's gonna head. Because, you know, I mean, you're talking a huge volume of people that are gonna be living there if they
Maybe.
decide to start parking there.
it's not gonna be close to that, it's not gonna be close to the new thing down by Value City. Blocks from there, so there's probably better places for those.
No, the Fight Building's 65 units. Just there.
Maybe.
It could be 130 cars. No, it's under construction right now. So
I
you,
don't know, yeah.
and then you got, what is there, 15 or 20 apartments across the street?
I don't know how many that is, yeah.
You know, they got 2 cars.
We didn't have to pick up very many cars from the Rieger.
Because those are seniors that have no cars.
Oh, so there's some, I mean, obviously, some of them have
They don't
cars.
have
I
many
don't know how
cars.
many, but
No,
it didn't,
not many.
we were worried that was an issue when that first came up and it
True.
turned to us.
Right.
But you got market rate living quarter versus senior living quarter, it's 2 different
Yeah.
things. You know,
The space on Jackson it's better for the Rieger people to, anyway,
Sure.
walking over, getting in. the car.
except you know where I park in the garage? I don't have any snow in my car when I come to work.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with, 8 inches of snow that the city plowed me in on the street. I'd park in the garage if I was gonna live there.
What else you got, Pete?
Yeah.
That's
Do you
it.
have anything more controversial?
No.
Nothing? You got
No.
nothing?
Did I tell you about the parking enforcement, the federal case about the chalking?
Yeah.
No, you gotta see what the city's gotta do. I don't know how they're gonna enforce what they're doing now anyway. I don't know if they're up to speed on that or not.
Walk around with a tablet and taking pictures and comparing and,
Could be more work if they can't chalk.
right,
Is that it?
yeah.
Resolutions?
You wanna do public comment?
Sure. You got a public comment?
Good morning.
Hi.
Howdy. That was easy.
I thought I beat the throngs into
But there's nothing today.
meeting, it's gotta be something.
Well, stay tuned. We'll do resolutions.
Ready, Carolyn?
I am.
Move for adoption resolution of the Board of Commissioners for executing payment of then and now certification.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Move for adoption resolution of Board of Commissioners authorizing the county auditor to make supplemental appropriations.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Move for adoption resolution of Board of Commissioners for the purpose of declaring certain Erie County equipment surplus and ordering same to be sold by internet auction.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Move for adoption resolution of the Board of Commissioners authorizing the county auditor to make budget modifications.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Move for adoption resolution of Board of Commissioners for the purpose of confirming an agreement with the Erie County Sheriff in the Village of Milan.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Yes.
Move for adoption resolution of the Board of Commissioners authorizing the county auditor to make interfund transfers.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
That's it.
That's it.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Mr. Old?
Do you have something?
That mortgage went through for that fellow?
It should be in there for you to sign. It's a, yeah, it's a
It's in there? Okay.
satisfaction.
All right.
Yes.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo? Before you gentlemen leave, would you make sure you sign the Mylar plans out on the table? I have two of them. Thank you. Oh, Matt, before I forget.
weren't kidding.
That was bing, bang, boom.
I still have the bell that we used at the Bellevue Elementary School.
Let's deal.
Okay, so just take it back to billing?
I'll run it down.
Okay, it's on my credenza. I didn't know where to return it. It's just been sitting there. All right, thank you.
They must not be.
Oh, just, I should have brought this up, but if you had questions about that resurfacing Columbus Ave, it's from Perkins to Bogan.
When does that start?
Nope, nothing for you.
I don't know, it's gotta be bid out,
Stuff where you
so
donate.
it'll probably be, later
I
this
forgot all
summer.
about that too.
I got
Perkins what?
I just thought of it now.
Columbus
You know
Ave
what?
from Perkins to
Just give
Bogan
me-
is gonna be
All I need
resurfaced.
is, is he giving?
The
a
whole
vehicle?
stretch.
No, what's-
No, it's the bulletproof. That's
By us.
Plates, the things.
Yeah,
put in
county
bulletproof.
You
engineers.
can give me a
You bought new
description?
ones, so-
Yeah,
Just give
All
me a
right.
description. What's going to,
Yeah, it's gonna
Oh,
be.
thanks, I appreciate that.
City,
No glasses?
I'm from the city.
Would-
you want me to work with
Okay.
him?
I do everything and I just.
Okay.
added this
Just
to
work
my
with
list.
him?
All right, well, good to see you.
Okay, all I just need is.
Usually
numbers.
Thursday mornings about this time.
Yeah, I just got a
I just
little
got
late
tied
start
up on
today.
I forgot about it.
Oh,
too.
no problem. No, that's, no problem. Thanks for coming.
other thing.
Usually not a lot going on,
I
but
appreciate what y'all do. I
That's it.
think it's pretty amazing.
thanks.
How you doing?
John Jones, good to meet you.